Aloha, friends. Um, Today's topic is another look into trauma. And I've done shows or videos on this and um, spoken about this in other videos. But something hit me a while ago, maybe a week ago, and I sat on it and processed it a little bit more. And I thought I'd bring it up in regards to trauma. um a lot of us have like old wounds or events that happen in our life that shook us to the core, or that we carry forward, that changed us, or whatever, just something that we didn't like and we couldn't move on from, or something that clearly is a something that we need to work through. um but I guess where I started to ponder was just the word trauma. Like, you know, I don't usually look up definitions for words and stuff like that. I just, you know, go based off of what I feel it is. So like my definition of something may be different, or actually not maybe, it probably is different than other people's definitions. But when I think about the word trauma, or I hear about trauma, it's always linked to an event that happened. And so that's how I always like regarded trauma as something that happened. And so when I thought about that, um it kind of piqued my interest, because um you fall off a bike, you break your arm, and it heals. um or you skin your knee, and you're bleeding, you wipe up the blood, and over time the scar heals, or the scab heals, there's new skin, and you move on. And then there's other things like grandpa got hit by a car, changes your life, you have a hard time from moving on from it. Or there's all the bad stuff, like the abuse and whatever type of abuse it was, right? But those are events that we carry on through our life, and we consider it a trauma. And I started thinking, like, you know, how is that any different? So I'm not trying to, I think I've spoken, like, said this before, but I'm not trying to, like, diminish anybody's pain or anybody's struggle. I'm just trying to like have an open think, where you know just basically processing concepts or ideas through a different perspective. And so I know, like, for a lot of people trauma is huge, it's real, and it I don't want to say engulfs their life, but it has a huge impact. And some of the things that maybe that they're going through currently, or that they've been through in the past, is real. And I'm not saying that it's not real. All I'm saying is that I'm just trying to look at something through a different lens. Um, because maybe I am looking at something wrong, and I'm not trying to put that on anybody else. So I know this is a big topic for a lot of people, and I don't want to, in any way, you know, make light or, you know, diminish what's going on with you in this conversation. So it's just a exercise or a change in perspective. So um, what I was going to say was, when when you fall off the jungle gym and you break your arm, maybe you carry a fear of jungle gyms moving forward, but for the most part, your arm heals and then you get back on the jungle gym, and there's no issue. Um, or you go to a concert and it sucked. The Maybe the sound wasn't good, or the singers were drunk and they didn't have, they couldn't sing good or properly or whatever, but then it doesn't hold you back from going to other concerts. Um, so it's almost like, how come certain things, I'm questioning, how come certain things we can let go of and certain things we can't? And so um when I think about trauma and how it's always linked to an event that happened, like whether it's well, actually it's something that physically happened, or maybe to us or in front of us, or we witnessed it or we were part of it. It's just linked to an event. And it's it was interesting to me how, I can let some things go and some things I can't let go of, right? And so I started thinking, well, what if the trauma doesn't lie with the event? What if you're already, I don't know how to explain, like, say it, but what if you're already traumatized before the event happened? So what if you were, um, I hate to say the word broken, but what if you were broken before you were abused, or before, whatever it is happened, that you're linking your pain to. So you link your pain to the event, but events are moments in time, and moments, you know, they come and go, but we choose to hold on to it. And so it never goes away. It's always living, right? Um, but I started to think, okay, so if I can let go or move on from events, and how come I can't do that with everything? Or how come, we struggle to do that? Um, and then we call it trauma, like, oh yeah, I was beat up when I was a kid. My stepdad, or I didn't have a stepdad, but I'm just saying, like, oh, my stepdad beat me, or my stepbrother beat me every day. And then uh you know I struggle through life, or through my teenage years because of it, or even young adulthood, or even till to this day I still have problems with it, coming to terms with it. And I started thinking, like, but the bruise is healed and the moment's over. Your stepfather's not there, or your bully's not there, but then you're still there. And so I was thinking, like, are we linking, is the trauma somewhere else? Does it live somewhere else, but we're we're linking uh, an event, like, so we're linking trauma incorrectly. Like, trauma should be where the emotion lies, and not where the event, what when the event was. And so, like, if I was to just, like, pick an analogy, right? So, like, I'll just say, like, okay, I got bullied every day. um I really did get bullied every day. for for a few years. Well, not a few years, but a few different times. Um, uh, and I just remember, like, so if I was going to take that analogy, or that use that example, those bruises healed. Um, the My abuser is no longer in my life, hasn't been for a long time, and but I'm still bothered by it. I really am. I'm not, but just for the sake of this exercise, I'm still bothered by it, and I'm traumatized because of what happened. But am I, because those bruises healed, the abuser's gone, but I still can't let go. And then I just force myself down the rabbit hole. So then what is it that you can't let go of? Is it because so and so beat you up every day on the way to school and stuff like that? Yeah. Well, okay, well then why? Um, because I couldn't do anything to stop it. Or okay, you couldn't do anything to stop it. You just keep forcing yourself down the rabbit hole through the emotions of it, right? Like, why is it so bad? What does it make you feel? It makes me feel like I can't protect myself. It makes me feel like I'm weak. It makes me feel like nobody cares because I couldn't talk to anybody about it. Um, it makes me feel less than. Um, all these things, right? And so, is that the trauma? Is that the real trauma? Is it not the part where you got punched and kicked and everything and pushed into the bushes and stuff like that, or pushed into traffic? That's not the trauma. The trauma is that you felt weak, you felt like you felt insecure, you couldn't protect yourself, and you had nobody to talk to. Is that the real trauma, and not the act that happened to you? And I think that's where we get lost. um when I was sitting with it, I remember, it like, when I got to the bottom of it, like, oh, all of the insecurity, I can't protect myself, there's nobody I can talk to, nobody to save me or help me, I'm all by myself, right? All those helpless feelings, or feelings of weakness, right? And then right away, my energy, or my attention was shifted to a recent video that I did on karma. And my attention was shifted to, uh, karma is never with the person, it's with the lesson. And so then, I was like, oh, wow. I put two and two together, and I was like, wow. So it has nothing to do with uh, Brian, that beat me up every day and punched me and bruised me up, and made me feel. It has nothing to do with the physical act. It's all about the emotion behind the act, like, not of him but of me, like my emotions. That was the trauma. That was that's the reason why I still hold on, because I haven't learned to let go of that, or to process that. And I couldn't process that because I couldn't speak to anybody about that. I couldn't get that off of my chest or work through those emotions, because um, I didn't have an example of. I didn't know what real strength was. I didn't know what it was like to be able to be, uh, you know, secure with myself, and not having to feel like somebody needs to protect me or save me, um, something along those lines, right? But yeah, I just thought it was very interesting that, you know, thinking about the word trauma, and how it often gets linked to an event. It has nothing to do with the event. It has everything to do with the emotions uh, that are inside of you uh, during that event, and the inability to process or move through it. Um, I would love to know what what you guys think, if that is like plausible, or maybe I just missed it. Um, but yeah, I just thought it was very interesting when I thought about it, that my definition of trauma is wrong, um, because it's misplaced. And I've been on this I don't want to say kick, but this line of thought that everything has to end with it's inside of me and not externally. So if I feel, if I get mad, then it's not because of somebody else, it's because of me. Why am I mad? Like what's my problem? You know, um and so when I applied that to this, it became huge, in the sense that, there's another example of me looking outward instead of inward. And when I apply that to other things, um, it just feels like I can move freer. Like I process things a lot quicker, and maybe things get put in the right perspective. Um, but it would be cool if you guys could share um, your thoughts on this topic, or this topic of trauma. um like, was my definition of the word wrong to always uh link it outwardly instead of inwardly? And because it almost feels bad in a sense that, like, because people go through some really ugly stuff, and it's almost like, well, you're letting the other person off the hook, but then it's not about that. I think, there's processes and stuff like that that people can go through if, laws are broken and stuff like that. But I think not being able to process your feelings or work through stuff, and then you carry it through, the moment, like, never resolves because it's still open, and you carry that with you for so long. I think that's the real crime. And maybe it doesn't have to be that way, um if we just looked at it a little bit differently. um Again, I'm not trying to make light of anybody's struggle, or demons, or whatever you want to call it. It's just an open think session, um trying to gain understanding, but not to say like anybody's wrong for thinking the way they do or feeling the way they do. um I don't work like that, and I hope people don't ever feel like that, like I'm trying to tell somebody what to think or how to think. um I'm just trying to expand my own thoughts and processes, and maybe have you all uh help me out along the way. But I'll stop there. um if you don't feel comfortable sharing your thoughts in the comments, but um do want to reach out and say like, hey buddy, like, not cool or something like that, you can email me. It's Richie's Reach, the number one, at gmail.com. But I'll leave it there. Um, and Yeah, I'll leave it there. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.